Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have actually tried to film this video a total of 3 times. The first time I just didn't like the content, I guess. I just didn't like it. The second time I filmed it in this exact location, loved it, and then of course I accidentally deleted it. So we are on the 3rd time, hopefully 3rd time's a charm. But yeah, I guess I know exactly what to say now, so I guess that's a perk. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about this background really quick. We're actually in my favorite park back home. It's beautiful, it's nature, it's the perfect background. I don't have to, mess around with lighting or anything because it's beautiful. And don't mind the wind. I'm probably gonna get rained on pretty soon, but we're still gonna film because, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, this video is about how I track my macros, and honestly, it's not that, what's the word? Hard to learn. It's just, I feel like the concept of macros isn't really discussed too often, like between regular people. It's more of like a fitness thing, and it took me a while to learn what it actually consisted of. So I'm here today to tell you guys, if you didn't know already. But before we can even get into how I track them, you probably are wondering what they are. So macros are basically the food and energy that you put into your body. So, and that consists of carbs, fats, and proteins. And each of those have different calories, I guess you could say. Carbs and proteins have 4 calories per gram, and fats have 9, I believe. But yeah, don't let that scare you, because fats are actually really good for the body if you eat the right kinds, like avocado, coconut oil, that kind of thing. But yeah, so basically macros consist of carbs, fats, and proteins. And what I do by tracking that is I have a specific amount of each that I try and consume a day. So if you can kind of see what I mean there, it's not just about tracking your calories, because what makes up the calories are actually really important for your body. So the app that I use to do this, to track the macros, is MyFitnessPal. This is not sponsored whatsoever. I just like the app because it's really straightforward, it's free, which I know a lot of you are probably happy about, just like me. But yeah, so what you do is you plug in your weight, I think your height, your activity level, all of that kind of thing, and MyFitnessPal kind of creates a certain amount of calories and macros for you to try and make your goal. So for me, I don't actually specifically follow the exact numbers that I've been given. It's more of like a reference or guide that I use to, to track my own. So I'm pretty sure the calories and everything for me are, I think the standard's like 1680 calories, and then for carbs, proteins, and fats, I would say I have around 100 to 120 grams of protein a day. That's a lot though for me, that's kind of difficult to get. What else? Fats I have probably less than 50, and then carbs I have around maybe 120, 130, something like that, maybe less, maybe more. Like I said, I don't specifically track it as much as I used to, but yeah, I eat what I feel makes my body feel good. So you're probably wondering, so okay, you know what macros are now, you kind of have a general idea of what app I use, but how exactly do you track this? So it's actually very simple. If you know how to read a nutrition label, you can track macros. So if you look at a nutrition label, wish I had one now, but it'll actually show you carbohydrates, fats, and then it'll say saturated, unsaturated. If you guys want me to go into detail and that kind of thing, I could in a different video. But the general understanding is the fats, proteins, and carbs. And yeah, so for me, I like to aim to have a macro-friendly snack or whatever and basically what that would be is a very good ratio of the macros. So I like to have the protein usually be the highest, but that's not always going to happen. But I like to do that because in my opinion, I think the protein is really, really important if you want to acquire lean muscle, and as well as carbs and fats. But yeah, so I actually started tracking my macros about a year ago, and before that I would just do calories sometimes. Like in high school, I used MyFitnessPal just to track calories when I was on the swim team and stuff. And you know, you can do that as much as you want, but if you really want to see muscle definition, weight loss or whatever, like healthy weight loss, tracking macros might be really good for you, because yeah, it's not all about how much food you eat or whatever, it's also about the quality of food and everything. So yeah, another thing I would like to point out is that this is not for everyone. I know people who eat intuitively, which is basically they eat whatever they want until they feel full, and that works for them. I know people who eat really clean. They don't care about calories or macros. They just eat clean, whole ingredients, which I really like, but I kind of mesh these together, you know? And then I know people who only focus on protein and everything, and you know, some of those things work for some people, some of those don't work for others. For me, I kind of have to know what I'm putting into my body, like the amount and everything, because if I'm surrounded by a bunch of food and I have no control, it gets bad, you know, like I just eat everything in sight. So yeah, having a little bit of control is good for me, because yeah, I like that. And another thing I would like to point out is that just because you have a set amount of calories, carbs, protein, whatever, if you aren't able to get that much into your body, like if you feel like you're physically forcing yourself to eat, in my opinion, I don't think that you should do that. I think you should listen to your body, because it's not fun to force your body to do things like that. And another thing I would like to point out is if you are starving and you went over your calories for the day, or you went over your carbs for the day, I would say go ahead and just eat the snack that you really want, because at the end of the day, it's all about how you feel and making your body happy. And if you are starving yourself or overeating, you know, that's just not good for you. It's not good in the long run, because I like to think of this way of eating as a lifestyle, as many people would say. And knowing the quality of my food and knowing the scientific components of it, in my opinion, is not a bad thing to do. So yeah, and really quickly, to explain further on how to use the app, if you know how to read a nutrition label, if you have the app yourself, if you have all your numbers already, if you have your macro numbers all figured out, all you actually have to do is just plug in everything you eat for the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks and stuff, and it'll actually show everything. It'll do all the work for you. So it'll show you how many carbs you have left for the day, and it'll show you how much you've had that day. It's great. So yeah, that is kind of how I track my macros. If this helped you at all, if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to DM me, comment on this video, whatever you want, because I want to help you guys. And if there is any way that I can, please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Follow my Instagram right there. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye everyone.